Hey everyone, Sky here. We recently hit 1,000 subscribers on the channel, so earlier last month I set up a poll to see what you guys wanted to see next, and Tacticool won. So today I'll be going over some of my two-gun setup slash SHTF kind of tactical crap. So first thing I want to go over is my EDC. I am carrying a Glock 19 MOS. Clear. Few things on it. I am carrying it with a TLR-1 HL, Radian Ramjet, Holosun 507C, pretty standard stuff. Believe this is the Jaegerworks extended slide release, and the Overwatch Precision Magwell, I believe. Not totally sure. And then the Timney trigger on there, which is a fantastic 5.5 pound break. So, carrying this with a T-Rex arm sidecar, their 2.0, with their tourniquet holder. You're gonna see a very common theme with a lot of my gear here. I was into the T-Rex stuff way before the whole family drama crap, so bear with me with that. I'm also carrying all of this with a Core Essentials belt. I think this is the quintessential belt for concealed carry. It's that classic ratchet style concealed carry belt. I'm a big fan. It definitely doesn't shout. I'm a gun guy. Even if I'm not carrying a gun, I'm usually carrying with a Core Essentials belt, so definitely my recommendation. All right, let's go to two-gun setup. All right, for belt setup, I am rocking the S-Tac Battle Belt. It is a two-piece belt, so what that means is there is a Velcro inner belt, and then this outer belt that actually has all of your gear strapped to you. So we're gonna start from the left of the body all the way to the right. First off, I'm gonna be running, again, a lot of S-Tac products here. I run them on almost all of my belts for USPSA, even two-gun stuff. This is their double AR pouch with single pistol pouch, a single pistol pouch added, and then their angled pistol pouch up front for that emergency reload. For magazines, most of the time for competition, I'm running just good old PMags. These are Gen 2 PMags with Shield Arms +5 extensions. These are great for those run and gun scenarios. If I'm not running a run and gun and a bipod is needed, which we will see, I'm running a lot of these 20 rounders. Most of the time those stages are going to be limited, but the really important part is being able to get down and close to the ground, and just that shortened magazine really does help with getting closer to the ground. For pistol mags, for my Glock, I'm generally just running OEM Glocks, Glock magazines. I do run a lot of the Shield Arm extensions. I did get a pretty good deal on them. I believe they're +4, +5, so out of a normal Glock 19 magazine, I'm looking at about 21 rounds, so, or 20 rounds, excuse me. So not too bad. The biggest thing I like about these is that a little extra weight does help them drop free from the pistol during reloads. All right, coming back down the belt, we have a dump pouch. I'm actually a really big fan of dump pouches. Obviously, they're really good for, you know, storing magazines, stuff like that, but they're great for administrative stuff, whether it's for holding water, pasters, extra Sharpies. This one is going to be a, again, S-Tac pouch. Big fan of this one. I've had this for a little over 2 years now, probably. But the biggest thing I love about it is the way it folds up. And that way when you're sitting in cars or, you know, just kind of moving around, it isn't snagging on everything. All right. Next, at the 12 o'clock, I am running medical. So this is a IFAK. I believe this is made by LBX. Inside here isn't any one specific kit, like North American or anything like that. This is kind of a hobbled together kit with some chest shields, bandages, all of the good stuff, some trauma shears. Underneath, I am running a cat with, I believe this is a T-Rex Arms tourniquet holder. originally made for their AC ones, but fits perfectly right underneath that LBX. And again, running it at that 12 o'clock lets me access it from either side of my body. Coming down here, I have a single HSGI taco pouch. This one I use not really for pistol magazines, but for utility. Usually there's something living in here, whether it's a Leatherman. Right now I have a Streamlight in here. I am planning to run a 2-gun night match here pretty soon. So I've run chem lights in here before, Sharpies. It's just nice to have a catch-all, kind of do-it-all pouch. For holster setup, I'm running a Safariland UBL mid-ride with, you guessed it, the T-Rex Arms thigh strap. I do love using the QLS system on everything, whether it's my USPSA setup or my tactical setups. I love this because it lets all of my rigs be modular. So whether or not I want to run my Glock, my carry gun, as a 2-gun setup, or just for fun, even running my revolver setup. So cool part is it does let me have that modularity. All I have to do is just take the fork out and put a new firearm. So this really cuts down on cost. You know, it's really hard to have a belt set up for every single gun, but something like this does allow me to, one, even store this belt setup really easily into a backpack and roll it up and swap guns as needed. All right, speaking of guns, let's go to rifles. All right, so these two are gonna be my main rifles. We're gonna be going over this guy first. So this is my 12.5 pistol. I generally use this for everything 300 yards and in. It's great for 2-gun, especially those running guns. I built this specifically for Badger Trekker last year, kind of a lighter do-all rifle. So first off, I'm gonna be going over the can. I'm running a Rugged 7.62 suppressor. I've run all of the Rugged mounts, so usually this is gonna be living on my 300 Blackout home defense gun. Been fantastic, probably between 300 Blackout, 7.62 by 31, 5.56, and even 22 LR. It's probably been close to about 20,000 rounds through this can with zero issues. I've had to give it the dip a couple times, but you know, the finish is wearing off, but it's been nothing but fantastic. Next is gonna be my white light. It is a Streamlight HLX Pro. I'm running this with just the push cap. This thing isn't really made for night use or anything like that, but I do believe that all duty style rifles should have some kind of white light on there. I'm running a small M-Lock to Picatinny in the front. This is for a QD bipod I have on the other rifle, so if I ever want to run this with a bipod, quick and easy, detach over. Next is a BCM vertical grip hand stop, BCM hand stop. Next is going to be these M-Bus rear sights and front sight for backup irons. You know, for the most part, I don't have them on much of my rifles, but this is kind of more of a duty style rifle, so I am liking backups. For optic, I am running a 510C. It is definitely a knockoff EOTech, but been nothing but great. No issues with water or fogging or anything like that. It is sitting on a knockoff, true knockoff airsoft replica of a Unity riser. However, it has been nothing but fantastic. Probably about 1,500 rounds on this mount. No zero shift or anything like that, so been pretty solid. Oh well. Next is going to be the Holosun magnifier. I love QD magnifiers. I think they're really cool. Oops. If I know I'm not going to be running it, it's just going to be sitting in my dump pouch or shoved into a backpack or my cargo pocket. One thing that really throws people off when they see this setup is, if you can kind of see, they're not really directly in line with each other. For magnifiers, that actually really doesn't matter too much since you zero your magnifier independently to your red dot. I don't get any scope shadow, or, I mean, excuse me, there is scope shadow, but I don't get the bottom of the optic or anything like that. It's super clear, so no real issues on that. On all my rifles, I do run a Radiant charging handle. I think they're fantastic. Whether it's weak hand shooting, offhand, or weak hand shooting, strong hand shooting, it's just nice to be able to use both sides. They're big, but they don't catch on gear. That's one thing I really like about the Radiant stuff. I'm also running the Tacticool bad lever. That is specifically so I can lock the bolt to the rear without having to go from underneath and figure that stuff out. So I don't really use it for speed reloads. If you find yourself NDing with them, because I know people were having that issue before, dry fire more. What's up with that? NDing? Crazy. MBT 2-stage, really nice trigger. More of a duty style trigger, nothing super crazy, still great splits with it. Mag pull grip, nothing crazy. SBA 4 brace, again, nothing super crazy. And T-Rex sling. I've been running this guy probably close to 3 to 4 years now. Been nothing but great. Been on a couple different rifles, a couple different builds. It's been beat to shit. That's for sure. So for now, it's living on this guy, the main rifle, but you know, rip T-Rex or whatever. The heart of this rifle is actually going to be the patrol length gas system 12.5 barrel from Roscoe. So I shoot this exclusively suppressed. This barrel isn't really made just for suppressor use. It's made for on and off, but it's so well gassed as just a suppressor host. So, all right, next rifle. All right, so this guy is gonna be kind of more of my SPR at home. This one is kind of geared a little bit more towards precision. It's definitely still probably my most project gun right now, but I definitely do like it if I know I'm gonna be engaging targets past 300 to 400 yards. It just makes it so much easier rather than a red dot and magnifier. So up front, again, I'm running the Rugged muzzle devices. This is their 2-port brake. I'm running another HLX Pro, but this time on a tape switch, just with the rail being a lot longer. This is that MOE Cutie bipod. It's okay. It's definitely not the most stable in the world, but you know, I'm not bench rest shooting. I'm shooting off of barricades a lot, so just having some kind of bipod is really good. This is Arrow's weird enhanced handguard line. Really great, never shifts, but it's pretty heavy. I think it's a lot heavier than it needs to be, but for something like this, I think it works really well. For glass, I'm running one of the cheapo Vortex LPVOs 1-6s. If you notice here, very beautiful zip ties. The arm broke a long time ago, so been too lazy to fix that. This is one of the Vortex 45-degree offsets. Usually there's going to be a Hollow Sun clone, of T2 clone of some kind sitting on here, but right now I think it's on some other project gun. Again, Radiant charging handle. I'm also running the Radiant Talons. I really like the ambi selectors, but they have to have the short end on the right side of the rifle, just because it always digs in if it's long. But if you notice here, that short's really good. I'm also running the Geisley SSAE trigger in here. It's fantastic, honestly. It's super silly. I don't think I'd buy another one. The MBTs have been fantastic, but for how much I got it for, it's kind of worth it. Again, running a bad lever. I just like being able to pick up any of my rifles and more or less be very much the same setup on all of them. I'm running a Magpul CTR stock just because I like the locking capabilities, and with how much QD is on this thing, I usually just throw either my other T-Rex sling on here, or I'm also running a blue force gear sling. So yeah, these are my two gun setups for, here we go, for shit hit the fan / run and gun. I don't do a lot of rifle content. If this is something you kind of want to see in the future, let me know. Or if you have any questions about these rifles, throw them down in the comments. All right, thanks for watching.